So start by telling them what your name is, who you are, and what you do.
Hi, my name is Alexus Scott. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I am from Wichita, Kansas, and super excited to be here.
Awesome. So talk about what you do and your main thing, and you know what I'm saying, how you started doing that.
Yeah, of course. So I like to say that I'm someone who's very transformative. I'm a developmental type of person. What does that actually look like every day, though? I help entrepreneurs make money online, and that's through marketing, branding. We have a creative studio space for videographers and photographers. It's called Bridge and Grace Studios, where we are located right now. But I'm also a coach. You know, I like to take business owners from point A and get them to point B.
Perfect. So when it comes down to taking these business owners from point A to point B, right? What does that generally look like? Talk to us through like a little case study, maybe.
Yeah, of course. So a lot of coaches will say, you know what, I want a full all-inclusive package, for those that I'm helping or that I'm instructing. It's unrealistic. I tell all of my clients, listen, I may have your next step or your next need, and so I sit down with them and I ask, okay, what is it that you're really actually wanting to see for your company and for your business, and where are the holes at? If you ask any of my coaching clients or anyone who actually partners with me or works with me in any way, shape, or form, they'll tell you I do a lot of back-end research. I'm very thorough with the work that I do, and so for example, one of my phenomenal clients, her name is Victoria. She's the owner of Heaven Sent by Victoria. When we were first starting her company, she said, you know what, I have this amazing skincare company that I want to create. I have the idea, I have the vision, can you help me? And I said, well, first let's start off with the product, right? A business is nothing without a physical product, service, something that leaves people smiling. She came to me with a phenomenal product, then we worked it backwards, looked at things administratively, looked at branding, marketing, and she's been in business now for 4.5 years, and she's taken off. I'm so proud of her.
Yeah, she sounds like she's killing the game out here. So, when it comes down to the world, everybody hears that brand, like you do the marketing and the branding side of things, right? Yeah. So, as we know, that just means communication and storytelling. Talk about that. Talk about breaking the stigma of just the marketing and branding and going into the storytelling of that business.
For sure. So one of my degrees that I have is in strategic communication. And so it encompasses everything that a true marketer or brand developer would need. One thing that is a misconception though within our industry is that your brand isn't speaking for you before you get into the room, and that is false. Your brand, what it is in which that you represent, it's far more telling the art, telling the story behind what it is that you're doing before you step into the room. So when I assist my clients and those that I'm coaching, I look at them holistically. What are people saying about you before you get to the party, right? That's what it means to develop a very strong, reputable brand that can be transcend over different levels. When people think about what does it take to be a marketer, what does it take to be a brand developer, they see the glitz and the glam. They see, oh, you created this awesome logo, right? You created this phenomenal funnel, and actually a new term that my brother taught me, this sales orbit, right? You created this amazing experience for your customers. However, what is the DNA of your company like? As a strategic communications studier, we look at it. If my eyes were closed and the only thing that I had to go off of is based off of what I could touch from your brand or what I could taste from your brand, what I could hear from it, this is everything that it takes in order to build a reputable brand.
So you talk about your eyes being closed, and generally, if a brand is failing, they're not failing because of many different factors, but that factor right there. Their eyes are closed to what they have, in their own bag. So talk about that for me.
Yeah. So there's something that you can do, and I think every business should do this at least biannually, right? 2 times out of the year, invite someone that is in a completely different industry than yours. And so, you know what, come spend a day in my life. If I'm a full-time entrepreneur, I may go ask, since I'm in marketing, branding and stuff, I may go ask someone who may be a construction worker, okay, completely off the field. They may be working trucks and cranes and all types of things, but I want to invite them in. I want to see if they spent the whole entire day with me, right, what would make sense for them and what would their perspective be, okay? they're going to give you ideas. They're going to, challenge some of the things that you're doing that you may not think correlates to your industry, right? So one thing that I would say is that for any of us as business owners and entrepreneurs, when your eyes are closed, right, even when they're open, you still may not see something that's right there standing in front of your face that is actually cancerous and that's actually hurting your business. And the solution to that, as I mentioned, go get someone from a completely opposite field, completely opposite industry, invite them in and have them give you the perspective on what can make your business better.
Awesome. And listen, that perspective is huge. Perspective. Another thing that's huge is exposure. A lot of people, again, going back to failing, because that's what we run into a lot in branding. People think they're failing, and so they come to us and we help them grow.
Yeah.
When it comes down to the actual failing side, these people aren't failing. Again, it's about what is in your bag and how you're going to use it. So when it comes down to the businesses that you've helped grow from, 0 to 100, talk about the exact factor. Again, I kind of want to hear a case study type situation. Talk about an exact factor that helped them go from point A to point B.
Absolutely. So you talked about what's in their bag, right? So most of us are familiar with Dora, right? Dora had this backpack, and she had a backpack that was full of tools and resources. And at some point, by the end of the episode, right, she had used all of those tools in her bag, but they were appropriate for certain situations. So for example, I'll utilize myself as a case study. Now, we're getting a little personal, but I hope that this is gonna help somebody someday, because people, as I mentioned, they see the glitz and glam, but you don't always see when it is time to pivot. So my company, Bridge and Grace, I knew that I had a service that I could provide to people that the process for it was moving really, really slow. So for example, I would go and create content for a lot of entrepreneurs, utilize my phone, my camera, or whatever the case may be. And I said, what if I created a space for them in order to be able to come and do it? And most business owners, they'll say, well, wouldn't that hurt your pockets? Because if they're paying you to come and do it, why would you kind of take yourself out, as the middleman? But again, I told you, I'm a developer. I want to see businesses grow, right? If I can help you cut costs, because I'm thinking about it from an admin perspective, I'm going to help you, right? So you take into consideration, again, I have this service, it's not working effectively. It's not best use of my time, and it's not best use of my clients' resources, financially. We created Bridge and Grace Studios. I said, if I can take my service, make it self-guided, that frees up my time, then I'm actually able to give back more. And it allows for my clients to have an additional place and setting for them to be able to grow their businesses. We're creating a community, a network even, for other entrepreneurs to be able to meet other people. And so it's actually meeting more of a need than what I had originally planned. But I say that to say, when people think that they're failing, again, even myself, I thought I was failing. When I realized that my time wasn't being used effectively, when I thought about, the resources that my clients were spending, I said, I'm failing at what I do. This isn't working. And one of my business mentors, he said, he showed me this very space. And he said, what can you do with it? Think about your other company. What can you offer? And I said, the same thing I'd been offering, I'm just gonna pivot it. I'm actually gonna take myself out of it, equip, train, and provide resource to my clients. And who would have thought? My failure is actually something that, we pivoted and transitioned to this.
So you turned a failure into a win. That's huge.
Into a win?
That's huge, a failure to a win. So talk about learning from those failures. A couple more questions, but talk about learning from failures. A lot of people, one of my favorite artists, he said, we win and we lose, but why the losses feel prominent and irreversible? So talk about that. Why do the losses feel so prominent and irreversible in these business owners' lives?
Yeah. I love that question, and I love it because I'm a natural competitor at heart, okay? I've been an athlete all my life, so as far as wins go, we didn't see a lot of them. It wasn't until I became an entrepreneur, truly, that I felt like I really was losing a lot. I felt as though, man, I really don't know as much as I thought I did. When, again, you come from a background of winning. And that's not to toot my own horn, but it's to put things into perspective. that for entrepreneurs, we learn something new every day, which means that if it's a new concept that we're learning, we may not get it right that first go around. And so when we consider, again, failures, when we consider being able to say, you know what, that didn't necessarily work out as planned, but again, I pivoted, in order to make the best out of that situation in or moment, I want people to be encouraged to know this. What are you afraid of losing? What are you afraid at failing at? Right? Like, why, have we made that such a negative connotation? Because you know what? If I failed at this yesterday, that gives me an opportunity to make a comeback. And if you're looking at it from, again, a marketing perspective, you're gonna come up with a whole campaign that's gonna be branded, after, look at how poorly I did, but now look at where I am. So from a business perspective, I'm like, okay, yeah, I may have lost that round. But again, I'm gonna start creating and drafting a really strategic way on how I can get other people involved, because I know I'm not the only one who has felt like, I didn't hit the mark like I thought I wanted to, but I got back up and I tried again.
Awesome. Hey, I love it. So last question. So
okay.
My biggest thing is I want people to know where they can find you, know how they can work with you, and maybe you can tell them who your target market is so they'll know exactly who you're looking for.
Absolutely. So you can find me on all social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Personally, it's Alexus Scott with a U, not an I. But also you can follow Bridge and Gray Studios, again, on all 3 platforms. And you can actually book the studio space on Peerspace, and we'll be sure to post those links and have it available. So I'm really excited to continue to connect and engage with entrepreneurs who are saying, you know what, I'm ready to take my business to the next level. Although I do have some courses and ebooks coming for those who are just starting out, we're really looking for that team of people who are saying, you know what, now's the time. I'm ready to advance and ready to enhance what it is that I'm offering my audience. Hey, my name is Alexus Scott, and this is Your Brand, Your Story.